used it in an application where I had like a rot close to the ground or whatever, where I had ground contact, because I knew it was never going to rot out, knew it was never going to do anything, which was my first real cause of application for PVC trim. Now we use it all the time. We're very versed in how to put it up. We know how it's going to react. We know how to paint it. We know how to make it finish really, really nice.
We started probably in around 2007, 2006 maybe. I was spec'd out from an architect. My supplier was carrying another brand, PVC brand. I wasn't pleased with it. The tolerances were not within reason, difficult to work with. And I found out that I was not the only contractor encountering that problem, only to find out a little bit later the supplier actually dropped that whole line and VERSATEX was brought in to the yard, exposing myself to it, and it's been wonderful ever since.
My opinion with wood is the minute you put it up, it's only getting worse. The thing with the VERSATEX is it's just gonna, it's gonna maintain. So that in itself is worth its weight in gold to us and to our clients. And for us, one of the hardest sales is to, show them what VERSATEX is all about. Once they see it and they see the end product, they're all in.
And the reason I went to VERSATEX versus wood was because obviously wood rots and obviously doesn't hold paint as long. And in coastal New England, the wood starts rotting out and people say, geez, I don't want to keep painting this stuff. So we said, well, why don't we try this PVC product? And once we tried it and got familiar with it, took a little bit of a learning curve, but once we did, you got to sell that kind of value. And once you explain it to people, they don't want any other substitute.
Tolerances with the VERSATEX makes that so much better. You don't have the pockets, you don't have with the cell structure inside it, with the milling, the finish on it, the knife pull on your end product to get a molding, to get your scrolled ends is much better.
Comparing it to what we had used in the past, we felt like it was a better manufactured product. We really felt good about the people that were behind the product, from everything that we had heard and from other testimonies from people that had experiences with VERSATEX, and some situations that had been handled. Just gave us a comfort level that we were dealing with the right people.
I've ran off a lot of material, and VERSATEX came on and we started trying it, and at first I was a little leery, but I realized that the tolerances are a lot tighter, the material's a lot cleaner. We haven't had any problems with it. We put it up on a lot of houses, ran a lot of lineal footage, the different sizes, it's a much better product than we've seen out there.
And my lumber yard switched trims, and they said, hey Joe, I know you like to experiment with this stuff and you're really finicky and you're picky, try this new stuff. And I said, I don't know, man, I got to go find the old stuff. No, just try it. And what I found was that the cell structure was a lot tighter, so that when we were doing routing and moldings and things like that, that we were able to get a nicer looking cut and nicer looking trims. And then the consistency and thickness was a really big issue when we were starting to make up our own casings and things. Essentially the two pieces would actually meet on both surfaces as opposed to one lipping up. So what I found is that it actually was a superior product.
On a normal wood surface, you're getting on the longest 5 years if you're really trying to take care of your house. So if you're getting something that's twice as long over the time, it brings your money back.
We kind of take the same approach that we do with some of the alternative decking that we use, and what we tell them is that anything you do now is going to look good for a while, but after one summer, using wood, everything starts to degrade immediately, and it is an investment. But if you look at the value and the performance and the long-term aspects in terms of maintenance and just performance, it's a very, very good and cost-effective investment.
That's where I push the issue that it's a no-rot properties, and building in the Northeast on the water, wood just doesn't last. And I'm a wood guy, and there's a place for it, and it really holds up wonderful outside. You can't beat it, and I explain that, and I educate the client that we're not going to come back in 16 months to replace this rotted piece.
You've been using it now for going on 5 years or so. Do you go back and look at projects you've done back then, and how are they holding up?
They're holding up wonderful. No problems at all. Everything's been absolutely perfect, no problem. No rotting or anything like that. So where I would have been back 2 times already if it was wood.
Durability and longevity of the product being up in the Northeast region, and it'll last. And they also have a maintenance program that they have to carry. So as far as maintenance goes, it's going to save them in the long run.
I do have to sell it because people hear vinyl and they want to run for the 4 corners of the earth, especially in New England. Every traditionalists, right? Okay. So what I generally tell them is, look, you got to paint your house every 5 years, the trim and everything. And the reason you hired me is because your trim is rotting off. Why don't we put in a product where 10, 15 years from now, I'm not going to be back again replacing it again. And you're going to paint it every 5 years. Why don't we put on a product where, yeah, maybe the material's a little bit more expensive, my labor's no more expensive. So for what? Maybe 10 extra percent, 15% total? You're going to have a product that's going to last 3-4 times as long. It's going to hold paint twice as long. At that point, it becomes a no-brainer.
Very responsive. I can call, just about anybody affiliated with VERSATEX and get the answer I'm looking for. And really, that's what is, I work with a lot of guys. And if I can't get the answer, if I need somebody else to get the answer, they can call anybody within VERSATEX and get the answer.
I think as far as sort of like a family type deal, and we really get service when we need it from our outside salespeople.
It would have to be the technical support. I have gotten tremendous amounts of technical support from John himself all the way down to my regional guy, Bill. They've been great all the way through. We've had some challenging situations. They've gotten us right through rapidly, which can be very expensive.
But you can get in touch with the right people if there's ever really a need, and that just provides a comfort level in the people. I guess I should say that a comfort level in the people provides me a comfort level with the product.
VERSATEX is like a family. I mean, you get a guy right from the top down who cares so much about the product. I mean, here's a guy who eats, sleeps, drinks this product, wants to make it better. It's like the mad scientist, and right on down through the ranks, everybody wants to make it the absolute best product. Your voice is heard. If you call up with a complaint or a better idea or whatever it is, you're heard. Actively, VERSATEX pursues ideas from the field. They want to know how to make the product better. There isn't a single company, I don't care if it's PVC, wood, any other product, that does that to my knowledge. I mean, these guys have a thirst for making their product better.
The conglomerates that own most of the other trim companies, you get that conglomerate personality. You don't have that with VERSATEX. With VERSATEX, you have a small business mentality. If somebody really cares, you can get answers, and you have a problem or a concept, hey, somebody will listen to you.
Their dedication to the material, to listening to the end user, their knowledge of it, it's that whole family atmosphere from the guys on the line to the guys in the yard, and it's a great company to be associated with, and I've never seen another company in the industry that cares so much about the end user.